I was talking to my guy friend yesterday and we were discussing this notion that a lot of girls don't want to build with guys because really often you see guys who are broke build and the girl will build with them and then he gets successful and leaves her for like a younger 24-year-old. She invested and wasted so much time and now she's older in the dating market, starting back at square one. At first, he didn't really see where I was coming from. His perspective was more like, well, if I don't build with a girl, then I'm not sure that she's going to be with me for anything other than my money when I'm successful. So let me try to explain the female psychology for girls who think like me. So I kind of have two pillars of thought when it comes to this. First pillar is that I feel like a lot of guys, when they're broke, they don't choose their dream woman. They pick the girl that fits their current lifestyle that they can like quote unquote afford. Then when they reach success, they finally have like this ginormous pool of girls who want them and they kind of get their pick of the litter. Now they can go for their dream woman. And by the way, I don't think every guy's like this. I'm well aware that there's many guys that blew up with their girlfriend or whatever, and that is the person they stick with forever. I think this really comes down to the fact that it's a personality trait. Are you a cheater or not? Is it your character to cheat and seek novelty or not? I recognize that. So the other pillar of thought that I have when it comes to this is that I feel like the guys psychologically don't want the woman who watched him struggle. I think they want to, but I think the guys that are still starting at zero and are building, they don't like who they are. And so when he reaches that level of success, he's always going to tie that old version that he's trying to escape to that woman. I think there's a lot of guys out there that don't want to be seen. I think a lot of guys want to be seen for that post glow up self, want the woman who sees him as like this hero, who sees them as like this manly man. Not saying that a girl who builds won't see that. If anything, she actually might. She might respect him a lot for what he went through. But I think this has a lot to do with men's ego, and so many of these guys just don't want a woman that's seen that side of them. Again, not every guy. I am totally aware of that. And so when you combine these two main reasons, for me, it's not about gold digging or finding a guy that's super successful. To me, this is risk management. I don't think that most of us will be able to accurately assess how a person is going to change when he gets power and success. You know, a guy who's making 80K versus a guy who's making 800K, they don't have the same temptations, the same self-control battles, the same access to women. Their values might even change once they reach a certain level of success. There's not really a way to predict this. You can look at character, but people change a lot when they get power and money. And I don't want to be blindsided. I want to date somebody who's at his finished, stable state, who's already experienced some of this temptation and experienced a level of success. I also don't want somebody who's super successful, like very much at their peak of their career, because I think those guys also have a different psychology that I don't want to have to deal with. I'd rather meet somebody who's somewhat experienced success and is still building and working towards something. And I have no problem holding somebody down and like building with them there. But I need to see that they've already experienced a level of success where I know that they are kind of who they are at this point. And I need to know how they react and how they've behaved with all this new access that they have to women, to money, to power. I think at that point, a man's identity is a lot more solidified. So yeah, I'm not looking to date for potential, not looking to take a gamble on who he might become. There's also the age factor. I'm 25. I don't want to build with somebody, then I've reached 30, he's reached success, and suddenly he's leaving me for the young 25-year-old, and I have to restart at square one, and I'm like older in the dating pool. So for these reasons, very quick summary, I will not be dating to build with somebody.
Man, she said a lot, innit? I want. She's a 25-year-old single female that haven't even started life yet. She don't understand what she's talking about. You know what's so funny about majority of this modern women and their mindset? They think everything they speak in is gospel. It's just bullshit. First of all, when you're grinding and you're gonna come up, make sure you find a woman that sees your character for who you are first. Of course, don't be broke. Like, have your passion, have your goal, have your mission, have the thing that you're working towards, and go find that woman. Because when you get successful, the dating pool becomes smaller and smaller. Your wants is different after that. I remember at some point, before I even met my girl, I was living in a house, like a 2-bed house, before we moved into the house that I'm living in now. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I was hella picky. I'm not dealing with any girl. Like, I was hella picky than how I was before. But then when you're focused and then you become successful in whatever craft that you pick or whatever business that you pick to do, the dating pool becomes smaller. Like, you're not going to tolerate bullshit. A lot of females' mindset is bullshit, if I want to be honest. You get it? So finding someone and building with someone, the respect level will grow. These girls, what they don't understand about men, especially real men, that's out here achieving things is we don't really care about love. We don't give a about love. Love. You know what I mean? Because she said something about when they get very successful, they're going to go find a woman that they truly love and they truly want. Nah, bro. To be successful, you have to remove those type of emotions out the way. You don't really have time for that. The most important thing for people like us is just respect. We want to be with a woman that respects us and see us for what we are. That knows that if we lose everything now, they know that we're going to make it back just because of our character. Love ain't got nothing to do with that. You can still love someone and disrespect someone like, do you get it? But this is what a lot of these females don't understand. So they say they don't want to build with someone is because they're just lazy. When I hear a girl says that I want a guy to be at the finishing line. I want. You're just lazy. You're not prepared to figure it out and go through the mud together. Sometimes me and my girl, we'll be laughing about things that we went through together. We'll be like, oh, remember that time the washing machine broke down and then we had to take it to the laundry. You know, like things like that. Like I want to have those type of memorable moment that I've experienced with someone and just laugh about that than just being with someone that's just like soulless. You know, I don't have no memory with you. Like I can't imagine myself struggling with you. Not even struggling. Struggling is a wrong word. I don't like struggling. I'll say I can't imagine me and you thugging it out to, you know, we hit our goal because I don't see you like that. So my respect level for you is not going to be there. I want to be with a woman that I can respect. It's not the love that makes me value the woman. It's the respect I have for the woman. Like I respect this woman because she's a rider, man. And she's a type of woman that will go the extra mile with you. That's one of the biggest assets to a man. So when I listen to young girls like this talk, I'll be like, bro, you ain't even started a race yet. You're just opening your mouth. And this is a lot of things that happen with today's day and age. These girls don't understand that men are wired differently. Men don't think the same way you lot think. How would you, as a man, want to be with a girl that was not with you when you started? You don't even have to start sometimes, because I always say this to young men that, yo, focus on yourself first before you go into a relationship so you have something to build with when you're in that relationship. Then you can lead because you have a purpose. You can be like, we're not doing this, I got to do this. And that lets the girl that you're with be like, okay, cool. I'm going to get on board with your program. Because most of the time, some of you guys don't have a program for a woman to get into. So you're kind of drifting. But when you have a program and you find a girl that gets onto your program, they're one of the biggest assets you can ever have. Trust me. No young can ever replace the woman that you know is one of the biggest assets in your life. It doesn't matter. I think some of these girls, what they think that, they think men are forever horny. At some point, you're not even going to be, I wouldn't say lustful. That lustfulness that you had when you was a teenager as a man, you're not even going to have that no more when you get a bit older, because it's bigger than that now. A young, pretty girl can up the bag. You think a man's going to hustle sleepless night, working his ass off to get to the top of the mountain to a young, pretty girl that can potentially up the bag? Come on, man. What are we talking about here? And I hear things like this, because this is not the first time I heard this. I've heard this before. I'm like, that's a fear factor. When I hear modern females talk about it as a risk factor, I just look at you and be like, you just have fear. Anyone that has any type of fear to get left means they haven't worked on themselves. You ain't bringing nothing to the table, because that's fear. You can't have fear in relationship. If you're trying to build with someone or you're trying to be with someone, if you come in a relationship with fear, that relationship is collapse. When I hear females, especially females like this, talk, oh no, I'm not trying to settle for potential, you're going to die alone, bro. You're going to be alone, because any man that sees your video now be like, okay, cool. So you're basically telling me that you're going to be waiting for me at the finishing line. All right, cool. Then you should be okay if I have more than 5 of you lot then. There's going to be a lot of you lot waiting for me in the finishing line. So you're not just going to be the only one. A guy that's successful and doesn't have a girl from the jump to keep him humble, to let him know that, listen, there's nothing out there, will never take any girl seriously. You don't even need a female like that. If you're highly successful as a man right now, you did it by yourself, you're never going to respect a woman, bro. Regardless if you get her young. Regardless if you're 40, you're very successful and you're 40, and you went to go get a 25-year-old, you're never going to respect her, bro. Trust me. She's going to become like an item that you have. You can swap it when you get bored. What? Trust me. The real ones, you know they're valuable. That's why you keep them around, because you know their character don't change. Especially when you are hitting a certain type of figures and your turnover is crazy. You can't have these hyenas around you, bro. Because you know what it takes to get there. You can't allow these girls to kind of fuck up the bag. It's impossible. So when I hear girls talk like this, especially a 25-year-old girl, I'm like, bro, this girl don't even know what she's talking about. She's 25. You're going to hear some females are going to take what she's saying as gospel and be like, yeah, man, I'm not trying to be with a guy that's got potential. I'm waiting at the finish line and see how these guys are going to treat you. Trust me, they're not going to treat you like their main one, because their main one, they understand their main one is one of the biggest assets that even added to the success. When you see a major successful man, bro, trust me, he's got a woman right there that you made him lock in and focus. And you, like, let me tell you something, guys, yeah? I keep it 100 with you guys, yeah? A man can't truly be very successful and actually hit the top of the mountain without a good woman next to him. It's impossible. You're going to be distracted. You are going to be distracted. It's very impossible for you to hit a certain type of level of success as a bachelor. It's not happening, because you can't look behind your back while you're looking at the front all the time. You need someone that's going to be looking behind your back, seeing things that you can't see. It is impossible. So when I hear women talk like this, I already know what it is. You get me?
God gave me grace. God gave me style. God gave me grace. God put a smile on my face. God made me smile on my face. God made me shine like the sun. God made me shine like the sun. Sometimes I feel like I'm the one. Sometimes I feel like it ain't my fault.